Taking steps with the revised Social Studies Grade 5 curriculum, People and Environments, the role of government and responsible citizenship. Guided inquiry, what does it mean to be or become a Canadian citizen? After Grade 5 students learned to understand their roles and responsibilities as Canadian citizens, they responded to a significant First Nation funding issue raised by the Shannon's Dream Foundation by taking action against Stephen Harper's government policies for First Nations children's education. Teacher reflection. When I was first approached about a collaborative project with the teacher librarian involving the revised social studies curriculum, I was admittedly overwhelmed. I had an idea in my mind of how I was going to implement the revised curriculum, and the proposed project didn't seem to fit with my thinking. After a few meetings with the teacher librarian, the project became a little clearer, and I began to see how and why it would benefit both the students and myself. Together, the teacher librarian and I started off slowly with the students learning by linking the idea of rights and responsibilities to those of a Grade 5 student to enable them to connect personally with the concepts. From there, the focus branched out to the rights and responsibilities of a Canadian citizen. Eventually, the students understood the significance of what being a Canadian citizen meant in society. As you watch this next clip, consider the following questions. How does the collaboration between the classroom teacher and teacher librarian support each teacher in the beginning journey in the use of the 2013 revised Grade 5 Social Studies curriculum? Upon reflection, how do the teachers create authentic inquiry-based learning? How could this Grade 5 teacher's reflection assist you with your initial planning?
Chose was number 2, taking responsibility for oneself and your family. I said here on my paper that I think that taking care of your family is the most important, because if your mother or father died, or you'll be crushed because they had a special place in your heart.
Okay, but the question is, why is that the most important responsibility, taking care of oneself and one's family?
So then they can grow up and continue the next generation.
Okay.
Now take a few minutes to reflect again on the questions. Where do you see yourself in your journey to implementing the 2013 revised Grade 5 Social Studies curriculum? How would you have students develop inquiry questions to create an understanding of the role and responsibilities of students to support student inquiry-based learning? Bloom's definition of synthesize, create. Synthesizing is a higher-order thinking skill that involves bringing together and sorting through an accumulation of information and ideas about texts to arrive at a new understanding of it. Synthesizing is the evolution of thought as new information is integrated from reading, viewing, and listening. / 2013 Revised Ontario Social Studies History Geography Curriculum. Significance. Significance requires students to determine the importance of something, for example, an issue or event. Students come to understand that significance often depends on the context or situation. The significance of something is generally determined by its short and/or long-term impact on people and/or places. Compare the definition of synthesize and significance. Why do you think that synthesize and significance are important in portraying current government issues and events to students? What does it mean to be a Canadian citizen or become a Canadian citizen? Grade 5 students have read online texts, been engaged in rich group discussions, and created meaningful explanations to the question, what does it mean to be a Canadian citizen or become a Canadian citizen? Eventually, students were able to synthesize their own meaning of the significance of being a Canadian citizen. As you watch this next clip, consider the following questions. Identify how reading, oral, and written languages are used by grade 5 students in the previous video clip, photos, and written samples to communicate their understanding. How can you use a guided inquiry to determine a student's metacognition in language and social studies?
What's the most important right or responsibility you believe to being a Canadian citizen?
I believe the most important right or responsibility is having the right to choose your own religion or not to have a religion at all.
And why is that such an important right to you?
Because in some countries, people have to go by one religion and one way. They cannot choose what they want to be, or that's why they have to move to other countries to choose their own.
Absolutely. Is there someone else that wanted to share what is a very important right or responsibility for them as a Canadian citizen?
I think one of the most important rights is the right to the right of speech. Like, you can speak up whatever you want to say. And your thought and opinion.
And why is that so important to you? Or to other people that you're thinking about?
Because if they don't like something, they can speak up and say what they want instead.
And by speaking, we can make changes, right? Actions.
Yeah.
And you may have seen that on media as well.
Now take a few minutes to reflect again on the questions. Why have teachers integrated social studies into their language classroom? How can you begin to integrate social studies and language in your classroom? As you watch this next clip, consider the following questions. How have the teachers constructed an authentic synthesis learning experience by having students experience their right to freedom of speech through this significant First Nation issue? In the 21st century, why do social study teachers have a responsibility to provide opportunities for student social action?
Some people in kindergarten can't learn the same amazing things you guys learn right here. There's a place called Ottawa-Piscat. In Ottawa-Piscat, learning is a legend and children are always getting sick because of how things are there. When you come inside from recess, you probably feel nice, toasty, and warm. The children in Ottawa-Piscat are always cold, whether they're inside or outside. If you want to write a sentence, you can. Here is an example. You can make your poster more amazing than mine. When you're done, you can ask your teacher, or you can come down to Miss Brian's class and give it to her. Then, we are going to take all your amazing and awesome pictures and put them together in a quilt. After all the drawings have been stuck together, we're going to show you how fabulous your work paid off. Then the whole school will see what an amazing job the kindergartners did.
Now take a few minutes to reflect again on the questions. Does learning about their rights and responsibilities prepare students for a strong Canadian citizenship identity? How can you begin to focus your students to respond to authentic social action opportunities to significant issues such as water, environment, child soldiers,